keeping up with cloud tech these days. It's a lot, like trying to drink from a fire hose sometimes. You know?
Yeah, tell me about it. It's nonstop.
I mean, just when you think you're on top of things, bam, something new drops. It's almost impossible to stay ahead.
Totally.
But that's why we do these deep dives, right? To help you cut through all that noise. And this time, well, you actually led us to a pretty cool resource.
Oh, yeah.
The Google Cloud Platform Technology Nuggets newsletter, specifically the one covering the second half of March 2025.
Nice. I like that one. They pack a lot in. Good stuff.
Super useful. But even so, even with a curated resource like that, there's still so much info. So our mission today is to really sift through it all and pull out the real gems, the stuff that matters for you.
Exactly. The need-to-know stuff. And we're going to explain it in a way that makes sense. No jargon overload. Promise.
Think of us like your friendly cloud guides.
More like cloud Sherpas, maybe.
I like that. Guiding you through the Google Cloud mountain range.
Especially for those who are, just starting out or maybe partway up the GCP climb. Beginners and intermediates. This one's for you.
Right on. So what are we actually looking at today? Well, the biggie on everyone's mind, I'm sure, is Google Cloud Next 2025. It's literally just a week away as of March 31st.
Yeah, huge event.
Now, if you're lucky enough to be heading to Next in person, the newsletter has a link to a blog post all about how to get the most out of the conference.
Maximize your time there. Super smart.
Definitely worth checking out.
But even if you can't make it to Next Live, the newsletter has something for you. Remember that Google Cloud Innovators program?
Oh, yeah. The one with the free Skills Boost credits.
That's the one. 35 credits every month. You can use those to dive into GCP, really get your hands dirty. Perfect for, our learner persona out there.
Absolutely. Those credits are a real game changer. Speaking of things that can save you some cash, there's some news about Google Cloud certification renewals.
Always relevant.
Big time. Keeping those certs current it's essential.
Yeah.
Shows you're on top of your game. And the newsletter mentions a shorter exam format plus a discount.
Really? For which ones?
For renewals, specifically. If you're renewing a professional cloud architect, associate cloud engineer, or cloud digital leader cert.
Okay, so existing certifications.
Existing, yeah. So you might be able to snag a shorter exam, like 25 to 30 questions, and a 50% discount on the fees.
Wow, that's awesome. I bet people are happy about that. Time and money, right?
Huge win-win.
Right.
But gotta be clear, it's only for those 3 certs and only for renewals. Other certs, you still gotta do the full exam for now.
Makes sense. Worth noting, though.
Definitely. Now, moving on, let's talk about some infrastructure stuff. This is where things get really interesting, especially for those of you in the AI and ML space.
Oh, yeah.
Big time. Seems like the NVIDIA GTC AI conference sparked some big news for Google Cloud.
Bring what?
New VM offerings. First up, A4 VMs. They're generally available now, built on NVIDIA HGX B200 GPUs. Super versatile, good for a whole range of AI workloads. Solid workhorse.
And then there's the A4X VMs. These are the heavy hitters. Accelerated by the latest and greatest NVIDIA GB200 NVL72 GPUs, designed for massive AI processing. Really intense stuff.
Serious horsepower.
They're in preview right now, but general availability is coming soon. If you're doing big AI work, this is definitely something to watch. The newsletter links to a whole blog post about them.
I'm seeing a trend here. Lots of juicy blog post links in this newsletter.
Right. It's a gold mine.
Speaking of gold mines, what about data protection? Any news on that front?
Oh, absolutely. Google Cloud is making it even easier to protect your precious data. There's a new data protection tab built right into the Compute Engine VM creation process.
Oh, that's smart.
Super convenient. You can configure all your backups and disaster recovery stuff right then and there when you're setting up your VM.
No more remembering to do it later. I like that.
Exactly. Makes things way smoother. And on top of that, there's a new feature called Protection Summary. This is going to be huge for folks managing lots of projects or VMs.
Tell me more. It gives you one central place to see all your backup configurations across all your projects.
Ah, centralized view. Love it.
So much easier to stay on top of things, make sure everything's protected. The newsletter mentions more details are out there, but this sounds like a game changer for managing data protection at scale.
Makes sense. I mean, you've got to stay on top of security, especially with AI workloads.
Oh, absolutely. That's mission critical. And the newsletter dives into that too. Security for AI on Google Cloud. It mentions these beefed up AI protection capabilities in Security Command Center.
Good here.
Yeah. And they're also giving advice to companies on how to adopt AI securely. They have like 5 key recommendations. The newsletter doesn't list them all out, but it definitely emphasizes how important this stuff is.
Rightly so. AI security is a whole different ballgame.
And if you want to get into the nitty-gritty, There's a blog post, Mastering Secure AI on Google Cloud. Sounds like a pretty comprehensive guide.
What's the cover?
Everything. Infrastructure security, data security, securing your AML pipelines, responsible AI.
Nice, nice.
Oh, and it talks about how Vertex AI, the platform on Google Cloud, helps with all this. And even secure MLOps.
Secure MLOps.
Mm-hmm.
That's building security into every stage of your machine learning process, right?
Exactly, like baking security right into your AI workflow from the get-go.
Super smart. Definitely checking out that blog post later.
Me too. Oh, and speaking of security enhancements, the newsletter mentions a tighter integration between Google Cloud's backup and disaster recovery service and Security Command Center Enterprise.
Ooh, that's a powerful combo, especially against ransomware.
Yeah, it's all about real-time threat detection, pulling in info from cloud logging and Security Command Center, and having a quick response through Google Security Operations. But here's the really cool part. They're using Gemini.
Gemini, you mean Google's super AI?
Yep. It's providing summaries of security findings and even giving suggestions on how to fix problems. So AI is actually helping you stay ahead of the bad guys.
That is seriously cool. I bet that takes a lot of the pressure off security teams.
Big time. The newsletter urges us to check out a blog post for all the details, but it sounds like a major step forward in AI-powered security.
Amazing how AI is touching everything these days.
Right. And actually, there's a little tip in the newsletter for keeping up with all the AI news. It suggests following a monthly summary post that covers all the key AI announcements on Google Cloud.
Oh, that's helpful.
They even specifically point to the March edition as a good example. Saves you from having to track every single update, you know?
Totally. Way less overwhelming.
Okay, enough about AI for now. Let's jump over to data analytics. There are a couple of cool things happen over there. First up, BigQuery Studio.
What's new with BigQuery Studio?
It's getting this awesome integration with BigQuery repositories.
Okay. How does that help?
Well, it means you can connect to platforms like GitHub and GitLab directly from BigQuery Studio.
Ooh, I see.
So you can do all your Git stuff, commit changes, push to your repo, create pull requests, all right, within BigQuery.
No more jumping back and forth. That's a time saver.
Exactly. Those days of manual code transfers are over. It just streamlines the whole data analysis workflow, makes collaboration way easier.
Makes a lot of sense. Keep everything together.
Right. And speaking of making things easier, there's big news for Cloud Composer users. Cloud Composer 3 is generally available now.
That's the latest version of Google's managed Apache Airflow service, right?
You got it. And it's got some great improvements. Like they've simplified networking configurations, which can be a pain to deal with sometimes.
Definitely. Networking can be a headache. What else?
Well, they've also made it so you have to focus less on the underlying infrastructure. That means you can spend more time on the actual data workflows themselves.
Always a win.
And of course, they've made security even tighter. The newsletter points to a blog post with all the specifics, but yeah, this is a major upgrade for Cloud Composer.
Sounds like it.
Now let's talk about databases, and this is where things get kind of mind-blowing. We're talking about bringing AI directly into your database workflows.
Wait, what? How does that work?
It's this new concept called Model Endpoint Management, and it's being rolled out for AlloyDB, AlloyDB Omni, and Cloud SQL for PostgreSQL. Basically, you can now integrate generative AI models directly into your SQL queries.
Whoa, hold on. So you can use AI models from Vertex AI, OpenAI, Hugging Face, Anthropic,
Yeah,
all within SQL.
that's the idea.
That's crazy powerful. So how do you actually do that? What's the magic spell?
It's all thanks to a new extension, the Google Integration extension. You add that to your database instance, and then boom, you can just call these AI models in your queries like any other function.
That's wild. What kind of things can you actually do with that? Give me some examples.
Okay, so imagine generating embeddings using OpenAI's models right from your SQL queries.
Embeddings, those are like, they turn text into numbers AI can understand, right?
Yeah, like numerical representations of words and concepts. Super useful for semantic search, recommendations, all sorts of AI magic.
Okay, that makes sense. What else?
You can also use Gemini to evaluate vector search results.
So AI is checking how good your search results are.
Exactly. And then there's sentiment analysis. You can analyze text like customer reviews and figure out if the sentiment is positive, negative, neutral, all right there in your SQL queries.
Wow. So you're basically running AI analyses right in your database. That's a game changer.
Right. It really blurs the lines between traditional database operations and AI. The newsletter also mentions this cool thing about using Spanner Graph with the LangChain framework.
Spanner Graph, that's for connecting different data points in your spanner database, right?
Exactly. And LangChain is a framework for building applications that use large language models. So the idea is you can combine these two to create something called GraphRag.
GraphRag, that's a mouthful. What does it do?
It's all about creating super smart search applications. Like, imagine you're searching through a huge data set. GraphRag can actually understand the relationships between different pieces of data, so it can give you way more relevant and informative answers, even better than regular RAG.
Regular RAG being just finding stuff based on keywords.
Right. GraphRag is way more sophisticated. It gets the bigger picture. And the newsletter even has a retail example showing how you can build a knowledge graph and query it using Spanner Graph and LangChain.
Cool. So you're not just searching for words, you're searching for meaning and connections. That's impressive.
Now let's switch gears and talk about developers for a minute. The newsletter talks about this hot topic, building agentic applications.
Agentic applications, that's like AI agents that can do stuff on their own, right?
Exactly. They're all the rage right now. But building them can be tricky. It requires a whole bunch of different technologies.
Like what?
Well, different AI models, special tools, data storage, and of course the app itself. It can be a lot to juggle.
Sounds complicated.
It can be. But the newsletter mentions this awesome blog post about agentic application architecture. It breaks down the whole thing into manageable chunks and even focuses on how to integrate these apps with Google Cloud databases.
Nice. So it helps developers connect their AI agents to their data.
Yep. And there's this key tool called the Gen AI Toolbox. It's open source, and it's specifically designed to connect AI applications to production databases.
So it's like a bridge between your AI and your data.
Yeah.
It makes it easier to build, deploy, and manage these AI tools.
Exactly. It also adds things like observability, so you can see how your AI agents are interacting with your data, and scalability, so it can handle tons of traffic.
What databases does it work with?
Tons of them. PostgreSQL, MySQL, Neo4j, even Google's own Hypermode, AlloyDB, Spanner, and Cloud SQL.
Wow, that's pretty much all the big ones. That'll make developers happy.
For sure. Speaking of happy developers, let's talk about gaming.
Gaming on a Google Cloud podcast.
I know, right? But generative AI is making a big splash in the gaming world, too, especially for online games with lots of players.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Well, it's all about using AI to create more immersive and engaging experiences for players. And Google Cloud is providing the infrastructure to make it happen. They specifically mention GKE and Agons, which are all about scalable cloud gaming.
So they're bringing the power of AI to the world of online gaming.
Exactly. They even have an example, this language learning game called Lexitrail. They use Gemini Imagen to give players interactive hints.
That's neat.
And then they use Agons to manage all the game sessions, OpenMatch to pair up players, and GKE to make sure the whole thing can scale up to handle tons of users.
That's a pretty slick setup. AI and cloud working together to create a seamless gaming experience.
Okay, last but not least, let's talk about something super foundational. Storage. The newsletter asks this interesting question. What do YouTube, Gmail, BigQuery, and cloud storage all have in common?
I'm going to guess they all store massive amounts of data.
You got it. And the answer is Colossus.
Colossus, what's that?
It's Google's super secret, not so secret anymore, distributed storage system. It's the foundation of so many of their services.
So like the bedrock of Google Cloud Storage.
Interesting. The newsletter links to a blog post that gives a peek behind the curtain of Colossus, talks about how they're constantly improving it to keep up with the demands of Google Cloud. They specifically mention new capabilities around SSD support.
SSD support. Solid-state drives, right?
Yep. So faster storage for all those data-hungry applications.
Makes sense. Speed is king.
Now, one last thing before we wrap up. The newsletter mentions a new program called the Google for Startups Cloud AI Accelerator.
Oh yeah, what's that all about?
It's a 10-week program for AI-focused startups in the US and Canada. They're helping these startups grow and leverage Google Cloud's AI capabilities.
That's fantastic, supporting the next generation of AI innovators.
Right. The newsletter suggests checking out the first cohort of startups to see what kind of problems they're solving with AI. Might spark some ideas for you.
Definitely worth a look.
Oh, and one more thing for our listeners who are Google Cloud pros. If you've got expertise to share, the newsletter mentions you can become a writer for the Google Cloud Medium publication.
Cool. Sharing knowledge is always a good thing.
They give you all the details on how to reach out if you're interested. Okay, so just a quick recap of what we covered today. Google Cloud Next is just around the corner. Big announcements expected. If you're eligible, you might be able to renew certain certifications with a shorter exam and a discount.
Always good news.
We talked about those powerful new A4 and A4X VMs for AI, plus some nice improvements to data protection in compute engine.
Can't forget about security.
Right, and we saw how Google Cloud is stepping up its security game for AI workloads, especially with that awesome Gemini integration.
AI fighting AI. That's
Uh-huh.
the future right there.
Data analytics is getting some love too, with BigQuery Studio's new Git integration and Cloud Composer 3 being generally
To
available.
simplifying those workflows.
Yep. And then there's that whole mind-bending thing with databases and AI using model endpoint management to actually run AI models inside your SQL queries.
Plus that graph rag stuff. Super cool.
And let's not forget about Colossus, the unsung hero of Google Cloud Storage, constantly evolving to handle all that data. Oh, and that new AI accelerator program for startups. Gotta support those innovators.
It's a lot, but it really paints a picture of just how fast Google Cloud is moving. So much innovation happening.
Absolutely. So as you're processing all of this, here's a thought to chew on. With all these incredible advancements, especially in AI and data management, how could you use these new tools in your own projects? What doors do they open for you? What crazy new things could you build?
The possibilities are pretty much endless.
Totally. Take some time to explore, dig deeper into the blog posts we mentioned, and see what sparks your imagination. We're just here to give you a taste of what's possible in the world of Google Cloud.
It's always changing, always evolving. Keeps things interesting, that's for sure.
That's the beauty of it. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time.
Happy building.